Everyone, welcome to another episode of the Real Jae Burnham Show. Thank you so much for tuning in and showing up. I appreciate it. Appreciate everybody who comes to watch, all 10 of you come and watching my videos. Thank you so much. You're awesome. Today we're going to be talking about another little insider secret. Something that probably seems simple and obvious, but quite honest, I hear a lot of movers don't have one of these particular items in their truck, and that's a shame. And that particular item is the GPS, the Global Positioning System machine. Now, some of you, I understand, some of you got one of these things called a smartphone, and that's great because you can do the Google Maps. And if you got a little hooky thing or something you could stick up and you can stick it in and keep your phone charged, that's just as good. But if you don't have some sort of GPS, you're doing yourself a huge disservice because then that means you're trying to guess where the person is unless you absolutely know without a doubt where it's at. Now, when you hire new guys, sometimes you might have to hire a guy to train them on the GPS. Sometimes they know it right on their own, and you don't have to train them at all. They just blip blip blip, put in the address, and there you go. If they got it on their phones, let the mover use their own phone. That way, you're not sending out a GPS. What I have found, there's a couple problems with the GPS. One, if you give them a GPS, they tend to either lose it, which I have interestingly found lost GPSs at the local pawn store, or they just don't use it and they get lost and they call you anyway. Now, I don't know why, but hey, phones are cheap these days. They can get an app on their phone, really simple, and a phone charger, and they're off to the races. But if you do give a GPS, make sure that you're getting it back. You should have your movers sign it in and sign it out every single time that they use a GPS. If they don't know how to use a GPS, it's a quick training and train them. Now, here's the thing. It comes most of the problems that you find with your movers when they say this and that and the other thing about they couldn't find this address or that address. Um, it's really operator error, quite honestly. It's operator error, without a doubt. Um, for the 9 times out of 10, it's just because somebody didn't know how to. They're watching the GPS and they didn't realize that they had to make a curve because they weren't really watching it. They were yapping on their phone, talking with their boyfriends, whatever it was. um, but then there's that 1 time out of 10 where it's a legitimate situation. Rarely do you find that GPSs not have the address, and that's a situation. When I first started my business, however, I did have a lot of problems with GPSs. We would enter a GPS into the system, and it would give me, instead of East Grand River Avenue, it would give me West Grand River Avenue, and things like that. It would give me on the wrong side of the major freeway, and I would have to go back the other way. I'd have the right road, just the wrong side of the road, and that was horrible, and that was bad. However, I have found when I switched over to Garmin GPSs, which are a little bit more expensive, tend to give me the addresses right on cue, just like that. I had no problem when I switched. When I used TomTom and I used the other carry other brands, I did not have the great experience with them. Of course, this was several years ago, so they probably updated the roads and their system and so on and so forth. So I got to give them the benefit of the doubt. Hopefully, they changed their software and their system and their maps and everything. But if it's, I don't know. You tell me. You tell me. Leave me a comment below if you're running into that situation. But with Garmin, it was no problem. The only other problem I have found with any of the GPSs, even Garmin, is when you have new construction or new subdivisions. They tend not to be in the GPS systems, and and even on the phone, they won't be on the phone. So sometimes you got to be aware that So if you're having trouble with not finding the address, call up the customer and say, hey, look, we're trying to get you on the GPS, but we can't find your address on the GPS. And normally they go, oh yeah, well, it's new construction, it's just being built right now, and then you're like, oh, okay, good. So can you give me the nearest closest address or the major crossfairs, and then you can GPS that, and that's a way to get that in. However, I do suggest when you send your movers out and they're going for a long distance or they're going out of state, that you do print off on a piece of paper with the map saying, okay, the GPS breaks down, you run out of trouble, it does whatever it is. Here's your backup. Here's a piece of paper, and that's what I normally do with my guys. Is I print off a little map for them, and I give them the GPS as well. That way, there should be no question whatsoever about where they're going to go or so on and so forth. And that should really stop any kind of trouble that you're having with your guys finding a place. If they are having a problem, it's almost a certainty that it's operator error and they're just stupid. Just that's the way it is. They're just dumb. They're either not paying attention or they're worried about getting the blowjob from the lot lizards. Um, it's just sorry, I hate to be blunt, but that's the truth of it. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to call and let you know, something that you should have in your truck. I'm actually trying to develop a system now where I'm going to actually have all my stuff on one tablet, like all my paperwork on a tablet, my CRM on a tablet. So I will issue a tablet to my guys when they go out on the job. That way they can, if there's a credit card, they can do it on the tablet. They can do all the paperwork on the tablet, and they just have an app inside the tablet, which will give them their GPS, and they can go with the tablet. However, that comes with the same set of problems and advantages. You got to make sure you get the tablets back each and every time, and that they're in good working order. So you get it back. They've got to sign it out. When they come back, they sign it in. You check it over, make sure it's working. Because guaranteed, if you send out your GPS and they bust it, they're not going to let you know. They're not going to let you know. And if you don't have in the sign in, sign out system, guarantee that you're going to be losing GPSs like you lose, socks in a dryer. All right. So make sure you guys, you get your GPS and you have a sign in, sign out system. And that when they do sign it in, you actually check to make sure it works. And if you're going to upgrade to like tablets or cell phones with all the information on it, make sure that you're getting that stuff back in good order as well. All right, so that's a little simple insider secret for today. Thank you again for coming to my show. I really do appreciate each and every one. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up. All right, make sure you like and you share this with all your family and friends. And by all means, please, please, please subscribe to my channel. You can do that over on this side. I'll have it over on this side. Sign up for my channel. There'll probably be a little circle right there. Just hit that little circle and click. There you go. You're subscribed. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys coming out and watching us. Have a great day.